Hi there, welcome to week 34 of reading. So, we are getting back into our routine of having our Zooms as well as doing our reading A to Z. So, we'll be Zooming this week, Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday, and we'll be talking about this story Weather Wizards Floods. So, kind of piggybacking on what we've been doing in science, we'll be working on weather and learning a little bit about floods. And obviously, from the picture, they don't look like a good thing. Quickly, I just want to touch on what you're going to be doing on Wednesday and Friday with reading A to Z. Obviously, you'll read your story, you'll take your quiz. Now, with that said, I wanted to let everybody know how impressed I am that a lot of you are retaking quizzes when you're not getting 5 out of 5. Number one, that is showing me that you are truly trying to be the best student you can be. And I appreciate the fact that you're pushing yourself and wanting to get better. With that said, I just want to encourage you to slow down and take your time when you do read. If you do that, the probability or possibility of you needing to take a quiz again will go down quite a bit, and you probably wouldn't even have to do that. So please take your time when you're reading those stories. Now, let's get back to what we'll be doing on Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday with this story Weather Wizards Flood. So, as I'm looking at this, obviously, we're going to be talking about a natural disaster. So, anytime we have a weather system that comes through and creates some kind of problem or damage, that's what we call a weather or natural disaster. Disaster being not a good thing, it causes a very big problem. And we can see what flooding does here. What I want you to do though is take a look where it says science and art. And I see these words, it says create a poster showing the cause and effect relationship. So we're not going to be creating a poster, but cause and effect is what I want to point out to you here. When we get a whole bunch of rain, we have a flood. All right, so that's cause and effect. So the cause of the flood is a lot of rain, right? And I want you to understand that because when we're talking about the weather, we have a lot of cause and effect relationships, meaning that something causes something to happen. So, as we read the story this week, we are going to have a focus question here on the left side of your picture. And it says, what causes floods and how can people prepare for them? Believe it or not, we can prepare for a flood, even though they happen kind of quickly and we don't always know they're going to happen. There are certain things we can do to prepare our property or our belongings to try to keep them as safe as possible, as well as to keep ourselves safe as possible from the likelihood of a flood. So, words we're going to need to know are barriers, dangerous, hazard, levees, overflow, predict, severe, stilts, and structures. So, a lot of those words you may not be familiar with, but I will tell you that these are a lot of words that we can use to prepare ourselves and our property for floods so that we could keep them safe or as safe as possible. So as we go through the story here, we can see some pictures. We obviously see some headings showing us some of those text features that we have. Um, and those headings will tell us where we can find certain information. Obviously, as we go through here, we can see what floods look like. We can see the damage that they cause. And then that will take us to our last page, which is the glossary. So these words that we'll be working on or reading this week. Barriers, this is a thing, it's a noun, and it's a natural or human-made objects that block movement. So very big, large sandbags or big concrete blocks that are probably as tall as me can be put along rivers or waterways or even streets or properties to protect them. Dangerous, that's an adjective, it's a description, and it's letting you know that there could be some type of harm. Hazard, we have is things that could cause danger. Levees are things that are used to keep the water from rising. Overflow is when the water spills over. Predict is a verb, and that's telling us what's going to happen. Severe would be extremely bad. Stilts would be very large wooden posts that keep things up in the air. And then structures, of course, are buildings. All right, guys, I'm looking forward to learning about floods with you this week. If you have any questions,